What is up? How are you? Here's your boy, Eli Wild here, helping you out with the sales. And, in sales conversations, a lot of times there's these hidden buyer beliefs that you need to uncover, ideally in the discovery. And what is discovery? Discover means to uncover what's already there. But what people have happening for them is that they have a pattern of how they focus, a pattern of how they create meaning. And so what we're doing through crafted frames and language is we're not just talking down to somebody. What we're doing is getting them to redirect their focus. You've heard this before, where attention goes, energy flows. Whatever we focus on expands. Whatever we focus on, we feel. And so a lot of times these prospects that you're talking to, or these audiences that you're talking to, realize this. This is the presupposition, a law for you to really buy into, is the fact that people have a conditioned pattern of focus and of meaning that has them where they are. And so once we understand frames, if we can control the frame, install a new frame, a frame through which is the lens through which they see the world, themselves, their problems, their issues, money, their identity, all of that, we can really get people in a more resourceful state by changing these frames. And so if you don't know who I am, really quick bio, I've done 9 figures in coaching sales. I learned a lot of this through NLP. I was directly mentored by Tony Robbins. And today, I think our content and frames and what we've taught over the last, really since 2015, I coach a guy in speaking named Jeremy Miner, pretty successful. And a lot of the top reps you see out there are using our processes that I began to develop really hardcore in 2015. By then, I was the all-time top salesperson in the industry, partly because, yes, I was good, but I had a great offer. I worked with a great mentor. And just as a company working for Tony Robbins, we just had more sales than everybody else. There's not any company out there that even had a fraction of what was done there. And me being the top leader, I got a lot of opportunities. I got a lot of direct mentorship. And a lot of it came down to the content I'm teaching you now so that you can become better in sales for yourself. And so this whole concept around framing changed the game for me. Whatever we focus on expands. Whatever we focus on, we make mean something. And so you need to realize that your prospects, your audience, they have a conditioned pattern of focus that is not serving them. And so what we want to do is be able to control that focus internally. Maybe we direct it internally into how they're being, their pattern of thought. But what I want you to get inside of this short video is this. The pattern I'm going to talk about here is simply called the indirect frame. Now, what you might see a lot of times on these Instagram reels or this famous person, really being harsh with somebody, like really being direct with somebody, a direct challenge with your audience. If you do too much of that early on, they're just going to push back. And you see people where it works for them, but if you use a lot of that same language, it's not going to work for you. When they see these, you see these little sound bites on Instagram, a lot of times there's a lot of trust been built with the entrepreneur, or a lot of things have happened before to get buy-in. You're seeing a lot of people use these frames that a lot of them I came up with like 10 years ago, and they worked for me for a lot of different reasons. We'll do other videos on how do you unconsciously build authority. But a lot of times you'll see somebody who's not a strong closer yet use a strong frame on a prospect and they get resistance. And I listened to a call yesterday and I was like, they're not bought in yet. And so instead of directly challenging your audience, like a lot of these people do, first you need to realize that if you're doing that, you're kind of talking down to somebody. It's like directly challenging them. And a lot of times they'll push back unless they have trust. So another way that I'm talking about here is simply the indirect frame. So instead of directly challenging somebody, you're doing it talking about other people. And so it is indirect. So instead of directly challenging somebody, I'll even give you a little definition here. Instead of telling somebody something directly, frame it as talking about people in general. And so when I started learning this, I wanted to get that. And in a conversation I had with Tony, I asked him about how he actually trained these patterns, because there's a lot of them. If you watch my stuff, I'm doing them all the time and they work. And Tony, I noticed things that he did, and I asked him, how did he ingrain this at the level of unconscious competence? And he said this word. I was like, well, what do you mean by that? He said the word mind riff. And so in each one of these frames, I'm going to give you a mind riff, like something you can say, put it on a note card, find a way to inject it into conversations 10 times a day, and you'll begin to integrate the pattern. And so the mind riff, the injection, the genesis of that pattern was this: a lot of people. You'd be surprised how many people. There's so many people out there who. And so just with that, get that I'm about to segue this sentence here into talking about other people. Now, I've got really advanced versions of this, but a lot of things that I do in all my selling, if you watch a lot of my videos, I'm talking about what other people do. This is a process of what's called disassociation, and there's different levels of that. I'm disassociating people from what's inside of them. I can even disassociate somebody from their own mind, because sometimes you realize that the mind will play tricks on us. I've had thoughts and so I'm beginning to separate the mind from the person, a pattern of thinking from who they are, where they begin to look objectively at their own thoughts, and now we're disassociating them from them. But what we're doing subtly is the same thing here with this pattern. You'd be surprised how many people think they can just go it on their own. So direct would be like, hey, you can't go it on your own. And that might cause some resistance. Yeah, research says that we all go further faster with support. There's no debate on that. And as you begin to think about what that means for you, then I'm taking it back internal. So other people, internal, and now they're more open to the suggestion, even a direct suggestion, because I started talking about other people. And so a sentence, example, really simple as this, keep it really simple here. People just need to know that if they really want to become successful, they got to be open to getting help. You'd be surprised how many people think they can just go it on their own. That's why I'm so happy that you're here. And so we can take it back to them, but instead of just saying you need help, get in the habit of making more indirect suggestions. I know that I really struggled a lot in my life, and I think a lot of people out there do. But what you need to realize is that you're bigger than anything that could possibly ever happen to you. So as you're getting this, I want you to know there are layers to it. And you'll see me when I speak on stages, I often talk through this kind of syntax or pattern as it relates to what's called referential index. Referential index is a way of really defining the entities in your conversation. There's me, there's you, there's we, and other people. So there's 4. I really struggled in my life, and I think we all have times where we struggle, but you need to realize you're bigger than anything that can stop you. Other people out there have some little thing stop them, and they're afraid to commit. People who don't commit are never successful. That's the indirect. People who never commit never succeed in anything. And you've seen that before, haven't you? And so the reason you're here is, so even with just that sentence, that indirect suggestion, which is a cause-effect pattern, people who don't commit never become successful. So I'm creating an association between not committing and not being successful. And they're more open to having the suggestion to them because I phrased it indirectly as other people. And now with one sentence, I can go back and I can give a more direct suggestion and it will be better received. Now, when I do seminars and events, I spend a good bit of time talking about myself or my challenges, creating connection. And then there's what's called universal quantifiers where we all, and they buy into the we all of this. And so they're inside of that where it's not you need to get help. We all need help at some point. And there's so many people out there that just, I want to call them bad people, or they're not hard-headed, but they just haven't yet realized that if you don't make different commitments, you're never going to be successful. And if those people just got that, everything would change for them. And that's why I'm so happy you're here. Because somewhere inside of you, you realize we've got to make different commitments. And if we continue to do what we've always done, what's going to happen? We're going to continue to get what we've always got. And I don't think that's why you're here. You'd be surprised how many people think they can just do it on their own. But research has proven we all go further faster with support. So what am I doing here? I'm dancing around it a bit where I'm getting people more open to my suggestion. And again, you've seen a lot of people do the direct suggestion, like really hardcore. I don't think that's the best way, especially not when talking to an audience. You see some people do it on stage. You see like these famous Instagram people do it. I'm not saying their audience is weak, but I am saying they're bought into a frame that the person on stage is superior to them. So they're willing to buy into that inferior posture where they're willing to be led. If you're a salesperson for selling somebody else, you're like 20 years old, you might not be able to do that if you're closing a 50-year-old guy. And you'll see people over posture and talk down even more and hype it up and challenge people more. That can work some of the time under some circumstances, but I'm telling you, being more indirect in how you do it, they'll buy into the suggestion, they'll be more open to your suggestion, and they'll be more willing to be led by you. Let me know if you like this type of content. I'm cooking some food right now. My eggs are on the stove and I can smell them. So I'm going to go there, turn this off. But if you like this type of content around framing, let me know down in the comments. I'll make more of it. And if you have questions about this stuff, put in the comments. I'll make another video just for you. Anyway, that's it for now. Much love. Check out the links down below in the description as well. As always, click like, subscribe, do your thing. You know the drill. And check out those links because I'm doing a lot of live events now. Next month, I have more time in events than not in events. I got 15 events over the next 40 days, and they're like 3-day events. So lots of events. Some are 1 day, some are 2 day, but I'm going to be out there a lot. I'd love to meet you in person. And if not in person, at one of my events, and you can see the link down below. Take care.